And we're back with a quick Rimworld tutorial. And today we're going to be tackling one of the harder raids to deal with, well, probably the second hardest, Sappers. Now, over here we have a bunch of angry Sappers. There's 82 tribals, and they're basically going to use Sappers to tunnel around our defences, which is normally a huge issue, but we've sort of maybe made some modifications to our base that make it very, very Sapper resistant. Now, it's not the triple walls, but you'll notice all of these Sappers here are going to run all the way around. They're going to take their sweet time. You can also keep an eye on them up here on the map, and we're just going to wait for them to show up at the destination that I think they're going to arrive at. And as you can see, they've come straight to our kill box, and they're digging their way in right here. Which, yeah, great, that's wonderful. A whole Sapper raid have just funneled themselves directly into our kill box. How have we managed this? Well, this has to do with how the AI works, and when it comes to Sapper raids, what they try and do is they try and avoid gun turrets. So you notice we've got some gun turrets around here. In fact, we have so many gun turrets. This took a lot of effort. This may be a little bit difficult for late game, but it just goes to show you how it works. To achieve this magic, you have to go into development mode first. Yes, because it's not quite magic, it's knowing how the game engine works way too well. There's a draw avoid grid tick box here. This allows us to draw the grids that the Sappers will try and avoid. Now you'll notice there are all these weird colours. That's actually caused by gun turrets. These gun turrets here, if you place them somewhere, say we'll put it right over, God mode, right here, you'll notice that whole thing turns red. That's an avoidance zone. This tells the Sappers, do not pass through here, do not pass go. There is a turret here, and if you run into that turret, that would be bad. So they try to avoid all the areas that have, well, turrets in them. And all we've done is made sure that the only place they can get in is through here. This took way too many turrets. This is quite excessive. Also, you have no idea how easy it is for them to work around it and how you can end up leaving gaps in your defences. But let me demonstrate some other less difficult ways of doing it that hopefully doesn't require you to put turrets all over the map. What we have here is sort of a Sapper honeypot. You'll notice there is turrets on either side of it, and if we bring up the draw avoidance grid right now, where is it? Draw avoid grid. You'll notice that this side of the wall, there's no gun turrets pointing at it. In fact, they have a clear shot all the way through to our bedrooms, which is the ultimate target of all Sapper raids. Therefore, all of these tribals over here, they're avoiding all of these walls because it's covered by turrets, and they're going to head towards the one place that is safe. Oh, God, yep. Why are you just... why? Anyway, all that messing aside, the enemies will come in here, and this is probably the simplest way for them to get through. This is the shortest path. And, oops, someone left incendiary mines in there. What monsters. So this is just a handy way to funnel them into an area where you know you can contain them, and come on. Seriously? There we go. And this is basically helps it take care of itself. We also covered the place in... Sorry, distractions. Alright, so this basically results in the whole place turning into an inferno. If we check the temperature here, the temperature inside this room is currently 177 degrees. All we need to do is get it a little bit higher. Come on, 180, 190, and things will start spontaneously bursting into flames. What really helped is we had wooden floors in there as well. You'll also notice there's 3 doors here. The 3 doors is to help keep the heat in and make sure they all have a very, very toasty... Oh, 260, 280, 290, 300. Oh, they're almost through. So you're probably going to need a decent-sized, a decent amount of protection to make sure that this doesn't cause too many problems. And oh, they've broken. Perfect. What was that guy's mining? Mining was 4. Okay, not enough to get through fast enough. I'd probably want to reinforce that a bit. It is a little bit of trial and error, but this is a nice way to make sure that Sapper raids just conveniently tie themselves in a bow and you don't have to worry about them. Of course, there are downsides. You'll have to go back in and replace those walls. I would probably use a weak wall set type like marble or sandstone or something like that. If you start putting in granite everywhere, they'll maybe dig somewhere else. And you're going to have to make this pretty thick to make sure that they can't dig through before the heat stroke gets to them. Or just put in some more incendiary mines. Your call. However, you will not have the capacity to do this early on. This takes gun turrets. Lots of gun turrets. You've got to use the gun turrets to cover the edge of the map, pretty much the whole way around the edge of your base. Early on, you're not even going to have all the walls in, so getting these turrets up is not going to be an option. I'm afraid for the early game defense of Sappers, it's going to be trial and error. You're going to have to know where they break in and just set up random cover. My usual method for dealing with them is to wait around corners. Like, say, I would wait around a corner here, have a block of, say, 9 pawns with some animal meat shields. The moment they stick their head around the corner, we start shooting. Once things start getting hairy, we retreat. Some of the animals will die, but we retreat back and basically wait around another corner and keep repeating ad nauseum until they're dead. You will lose stuff, your base will get damaged, things will get hurt, and they will steal things. But you'll survive. That's the important bit. But there's the problem is that's not the only type of sapper raid you can experience. The next sapper raid we're going to look at is explosive sappers, and oh yeah, they're so much fun. This here is an explosive sapper raid. Just wear your brown trousers for these ones. They are the worst. Notice the way that they have grenades with them. Yeah, they don't use those grenades just for throwing at your people. They will throw them at walls actively. Now, this is the previous setup. We don't have the honeypot set up. They're going to come around towards the kill box. But they will just start chucking grenades at things, and it's very, very, very uncomfortable. Let's just speed this along, shall we? Well, you can see here, Kero is drilling at the wall to try and get in. The ones with the grenades are going to find somewhere... Oh, I should probably have some people in this kill box, shouldn't I? So normally what happens is, where's the grenadiers? Ah, here we are. They're going to start tossing grenades at your walls. Yeah. This means they will quickly and effectively smash down your defenses. It's almost impossible to get your defenses up in time unless you, say, already have a kill box that's going to funnel them in that direction. As you notice here, they're even trying to get in... Yep, they're trying to drill through this wall here because there's no protection, because there's no counter covering that area. Oh god, this is a mess. Yeah, I probably should have brought in more people. But as you can see, despite the terrible, terrible abilities we've been displaying here... Oh god. Yeah, we can at least funnel them into our kill box, though probably not the best way we did it. Oh wow, that was a horrible mess, but beautiful. Point being, yeah, even with funneling them directly into your kill box, this is almost always a nightmare scenario. Your best bet, meet them in the field, hit them with doomsdays, aero drone strikes, pretty much any super weapons you can get your hands on as well, or animal pulsar. Animal pulsar will cause them to rip themselves to pieces. Rewinding time back a bit, we have the exact same raid coming at us, and we're about to activate an animal pulsar. Now you notice there's not that many animals on the map, so this is not actually great. We should really have a whole bunch more if we were lucky. But, on the bright side... Oh, brilliant. They have so many explosives that they end up blowing each other to bits and firing most of their explosive munitions. Worst case scenario, we would have to with a raid that has drastically reduced firepower and drastically reduced numbers. It's always fun. Plus, there's still a bunch of angry animals left out there that are going to attack them. Who is still shooting at them? Yeah, my advice, yeah, you see an explosives raid coming, close the doors, activate an animal pulsar, and let them murder themselves. This is very good early to mid-game. However, if they don't oblige by attacking while you have lots of animals around, say during a toxic fallout, cold snap, heat wave, all the animals will run away at that point, or you're not on a tile that have them, you pretty much have to go meet them in the field and shoot them from a distance. So let's have a quick go over how to take them out with a doomsday shot. Same scenario again, we've got them all heading towards our kill box, which is nice, we know where they're going, and we have preemptively got Rolorn up front with the doomsday. I'd normally keep doomsdays around exit points, so roughly where I know where the enemy might be coming from, or where I might have to run people out to doomsday things. We are using Rolorn here because they have skip on them, and we've also given them a jump jet pack, which means they're more likely to be able to get themselves out of trouble after they get themselves in. Now usually the person who's in charge... Oh, you better not be set to fire at will. Usually the person who's in charge will ignore you and go straight through to do their drilling, and we just want to aim for the person behind them. Oh god. 1 second while I get some reinforcements. You see, the hard part about this is they're very, very, very tough. This is a very late game large raid. What we should really do is, say, get Rolorn here, invisibilize them, and then jump jet them close to get a nice juicy shot in the middle of them. But we're going to try and show you how you get a decent shot off, even if you do have to deal with a whole bunch of them. Alright, where do we want to hit? The problem is we need to get the shot off and then out of there before they get too close. And this river makes the perfect choke point, because the river is going to slow down their movement, which means we should be able to nab more of them while they're slowly crawling across the river. Less fire damage, but hey. And the simplest way to think of this is, see the center of, or the edge of that point where Louis is, this guy here? If Louis was to walk in a straight line perfectly, he would just exit the explosion radius on the opposite side before it hits. So if we were to fire right now, and this was just normal dirt, Louis should just be exiting the explosion on the opposite side. So you don't want to aim where you're going to hit them. You want to aim where the next crowd are going to be. So just imagine your explosive radius, instead of being here, your explosive radius was all the way down here. And that's kind of what you're going to hit. In this instance, they're not bunched up enough for us to get a killer blow, but we should be able to at least get a decent shot off. Yeah, I think there's a nice big chunk there. I think we're going to target them. Yeah, right about there. Should be now. Okay, so we're firing there. Let me get the planning tool. That stockpile slash area that's marked out, that's where the explosion is going to happen from Rolorn's hit. And we'll just play this forward in slow time, and you can see. And they're almost through, and there we go. We got a nice chunk of kills. But then we got to run away. That's it. You pretty much get one shot, but unless they're really bunched up, like a late game raid like this, it's too big and too spread out. Earlier, smaller raids, you can usually wipe out in one hit, but this is a max size one. Yeah, you're going to need a lot more than just that. And everyone run away. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Yep. Ow. Oh, you killed my Labrador. That's nasty. And oh, I forgot to close the doors behind me. That was actually a mistake. Jesus, that's a horrible mess. Yep. Yep. Yep, that's pretty much how it goes. Also, I activated an animal pulsar. That should leave us at least some fun things for them to deal with. Alright, I think that's enough of a mess for now. That was quite entertaining, but when you're dealing with these, just be aware there's almost no good solution. Once it gets to late game and you're dealing with this many, you just need a whole bunch of weapons. Other options are, the only other options I can find, but they're ultra late game, is you need to have spellcasters with invisibility and berserk pulse. Basically that's it. Invisibility, berserk pulse. Jump in, drive a bunch of them insane, they'll start fighting each other, they'll shoot each other, and you can pick out specific targets. It's also a good idea to maybe target the ones with, say, doomsdays or triple rockets or expensive weapons that you want to get your hands on, because once you berserk someone, I've never actually seen someone with a doomsday try and fire it when they've been berserked, while instead they always seem to just go straight into melee. They just always try to melee everyone around them. I don't know why that is, or maybe it's only been my experience with it, but it's definitely an annoyance. So jump jetting in with invisibility and berserk pulse pretty much can take care of these, but you're going to need to be well invested in that. It takes a long time to build up to those skills, and you're going to have to keep an eye out for buying those skill trainers in every caravan that comes by, or go aggressively trading for them. I know this is not the most upbeat one to look at, but it's just explosive raids they're a brown trouser moment, and no matter how long you've been playing, they will always be a tricky thing to deal with. Their grenades will shoot through walls. You never know exactly where they're going to come through, and even if you do put turrets everywhere you need them to, it's going to be really tricky to deal with them. So, yeah. I should point out jump jet packs and side focus abilities, they're all in the royalty expansion. If you don't have the royalty expansion, well, you're not going to have access to those, in which case just invest in a lot of doomsdays and super weapons. And I don't want to be too pessimistic here. Explosive sapper raids are incredibly deadly, but they're also very rare. That's the thing. There's not actually an awful lot of explosive raids you're going to deal with. They're about as rare as mechs dropping in the middle of your base. So don't be too worried about them, but do make sure to keep a stockpile of weaponry on hand for when you do have to deal with them. As well as that, you can make sure, so long as these turrets over here exist, that's it. You don't need to actually power them. Their presence alone acts as a deterrent. So don't have to worry about running power cables everywhere. Also, having mountains in the middle of your base does make it a little bit trickier to do these. These work on line of sight, so if you say put one behind this wall here, it can't affect anything on the opposite side of it. Which means the straighter the lines you have, the easier it is to install those and be safe. And in all fairness, since most of the raids are going to be sort of the equivalent of this, they are pretty handy to take care of. I mean, look at this one. This one really took care of itself quite handily, and they haven't even bothered trying to dig through the wall yet. And they're broken. What's the temperature in there? 700 degrees Celsius. That's... damn. And it also gets rid of all the bodies and the weapons as well. Perfectly handy. Oh, some of them are actually spawning through. Never mind. Hey, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope this was at least mildly informative for you, and good luck.